All right, no one knows when the air might clear between rappers Drake and Kendrick Lamar, but it has taken hip-hop feuding to new heights with unproven allegations hurled from both sides. So the battle escalated when both artists dropped multiple new tracks over the weekend. And then yesterday, police were on scene of a shooting in front of Drake's Toronto estate, where a member of Drake's security team we know has been seriously injured. So far, Toronto police have not said whether there has been a link between the shooting and this ongoing feud between the rappers. They are continuing to investigate what they say possible motives. So for more on the backstory and why things seem to be different this time around, we're joined by Mark Campbell, Assistant Professor of Music and Culture at the University of Toronto. Thanks for coming in studio. Great to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Anne-Marie.
All right, let's walk us backwards. First of all, when and why did this feud start in the first place?
I mean, the feud started in 2012, but it kind of was refueled earlier this year. And it's just, you know, regular braggadocious boasting on tracks. And at some point, you know, Drake kind of nudged Kendrick a little bit to respond to some of his diss tracks.
Yeah, and at one point, I think Drake had said, bragging that they were the top three. Kendrick comes back, it's like, there's no top three, there's just me.
Yeah.
Walk us through the general messaging of the latest set of diss tracks and how they've escalated.
Okay, well, the latest set of diss tracks, I mean, they really have moved from sort of the general, macho-ness of hip-hop into personal family details, into intimate allegations around, people's
entourage, support team.
Yeah, around their support team, their entourage, and it's really gotten personal, and in some ways it's moved from, this is a competitive battle to now we're going to talk about, your need for therapy or the traumas you experienced as a young child, et cetera. So, Kendrick was very clear when he said, let's not make this personal, let's not,
But then he made it personal.
Well, then Drake released Family Matters, and that was all about Kendrick's family, and Kendrick pleaded. He didn't plead, but he was like, don't bring good people into this. Like, don't talk about my family. Let's, have a friendly, spar. Let's spar. Let's have a rivalry and spar. But now you want to talk about my family, so then we get Meet the Grams, and it goes further into family.
So why then, is it fair to say that Drake is the one who crossed the line? And if there's a set of unwritten rules, why cross them?
Yeah, I think, you poke the bear and you'll get a response. Kendrick was really clear. He was like, yeah, let's not go there. Let's not go in on my family. And that's what happened, that was the decision made,
And now we're seeing consequences carried out throughout their lyrics. Anyway, yeah. Diss tracks aren't new, but these exchanges and this fight overall seems to feel a little differently than exchanges we've looked at in the past. Can you compare them for us and where this sits in comparison?
Yeah, I can say, in the 80s and 90s, rivalries in hip hop, they're part of the game. Mm-hmm. Aesthetically, it's part of the culture. I think what's changed dramatically, even from the late 90s, from the last sort of big rivalry that maybe non-hip-hop fans would know about, which is, Biggie and Tupac. I mean, we have the internet, and the internet means we get access worldwide to music faster, mm-hmm. but it also means user-generated content. You get people that are creating memes and videos and kind of spreading and sort of fanning the flames of this rivalry in ways that we wouldn't have seen in the late 90s.
You brought up Tupac and Biggie, and we know that those both ended in tragic consequences. So is this Kendrick and Drake feud of the same magnitude, or is this a whole different category?
I don't believe it's of the same magnitude. I mean, we were looking at East Coast versus West Coast. We were looking at entire crews.
Yes.
This is not a Canada, LA. This is not a Toronto, LA thing at all. So we're not looking at this. It's a different scale, and there's a different audience, right? So in the late 90s, it would have been, if you were a Biggie fan, you were into hip hop before hip hop was the #1 selling genre post 1998 in America. And if you were down with Tupac, then you knew him from Digital Underground. You knew him as not Tupac, but as a member of Digital Underground, and you were into hip hop. Now, you don't have to be part of the culture of hip hop to actually know something about any of these diss tracks or these beef tracks. I mean, you need to go on, if you go on YouTube, you'll have all of these lyrics dissected for you within the hour.
I'm a mom of 3 kids. I know what's going on. And it's because of social media.
But in the late 90s, you would have had to decode all the lyrics yourself, and you and your crew would sit and chat about the songs, etc.
When you saw yesterday the news come across that there'd been a shooting outside of Drake's house, what was your first thought, and what are you watching for?
My first thought is, I really hope that the security guard pulls through. There's serious injuries. I hope this is not some sort of marketing or publicity stunt. I think it's ridiculous that, people that are doing their job are caught in the crossfire of, what is largely seeming like marketing and promotions.
You mean the feud?
Yeah, like this, this feud was calculated over a weekend. We got these songs in ways that demonstrate to us that folks had been working on music long before this stuff was released, before sort of the pace at which we got new music.
So you don't think that this is actually, a feud in response? You think that this is a planned marketing?
I think part of it is.
Strategy?
I think part of it is. Yeah.
On both sides or one camp?
On one side.
Which side?
You know which side.
I don't. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah. I would say we're really looking at hip-hop culture versus entertainment and pop music.
Interesting.
And it's these are two very different cultures. And Kendrick took a long time to respond because, it's a hard decision to leave the culture and enter into this pop entertainment industry to perform in a particular kind of way for audiences that are consuming narratives that might be part of some sort of fabrication in an industry.
Mark, it's been a fascinating conversation. Thanks for coming in.
No problem. Thank you, Anne-Marie.
Send you some more questions.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.